Hello and welcome. We are live. It's lovely to have you with us.
And I'm Kym Marsh. Well, the sun is shining and we're here to try and put a spring in your step with a whole host of hints and tips to help keep you on top of things. Here's what's coming up on the show. Have endless queues. And I should know because that happened to me. And a week on from the grand reopening. So it's been a bit of a strange weekend for you.
How about you? A good weekend? A strange weekend? How did it work out?
Well, I went to the zoo.
You went to the zoo?
Yeah, and it was bizarre.
Really?
It was really bizarre. I mean, it was like the zoo, but...
And they say that might be because they're actually missing people.
Yeah.
Well, could be changes, we think, to lockdown restrictions. We may be going from two...
You hope so, yeah.
Yes.
You hope so, wouldn't you? I mean, it was weird. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
Yes, and as the hospitality industry gears up to try and find ways to safely reopen, it got us wondering if there were any innovations from other countries that we could potentially borrow and apply over here.
Check out the following. This is a German...
It'd be fun, though. It'd be like gladiators.
Do you take people's eyes out?
Bizarre.
I don't fancy that.
That would freak me out.
Big time.
I'd be freaked out by that. It's like weird. Anyway, to find out precisely what is being planned in the UK every day this week, we're going to take a look at how different industries are gearing up to reopen. We're going to start with swimming pools, gyms and leisure centres today, and it'll be hairdressers, cinemas, theatres, restaurants, pubs and airports later. But when you pop your head out the window, everything seems OK, right? It's still sitting on the drive, safe and sound. And now the country's in lockdown and the supply chain of replacement parts has ground to a halt. The criminals have sensed a lucrative opportunity. Here's Rip-Off Britain's Julia Somerville with the story.
Unbelievable. It's broad daylight, balaclava.
It really is. The cheek of them.
Yeah.
And the car was parked in full view of CCTV as well.
Unbelievable. Well,
it's been a week since non-essential shops selling things like clothes, toys and electrical goods reopened in England. Stores in Northern Ireland are also back in business. And from today, they start trading in Wales again too. You've been telling us about some of your experiences at the shops. Julie took this photo of...
Warrington.
Well, you know, they're always front runners, aren't they?
Warrington.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
always ahead of the times.
Claire, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So we saw there the pictures of a traditional high street, empty, and a big out-of-town retail centre.
Whereas only around 30% drop in retail parks, where of course it's more open air, easier access parking.
Change times at the moment, and what we have seen is we've lost some big high street names, haven't we, during the lockdown? Are there any signs of others any signs of trouble for other brands?
Struggling anyway, and this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. We saw Travis Perkins announcing some closures last week as a result of their inability.
One of the things they've got to get sorted out is loos. People cannot go into high streets. I mean, the kind of direction of travel we're on at the moment, where in...
to around 30 by April, which is not really unsurprising. But what that doesn't reveal, it has been quite an interesting thing to watch.
It is better news for local shops, isn't there, Claire?
Yeah, I think so. I think that example of how the independent boutique, and that will deteriorate their loyalty over time.
Give me some good emerging over the next year or two as a result of COVID and otherwise. Claire.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you miss the shopping experience, Kym? Is that a big part of your life?
Yeah, I think so. It's nice to do with friends, isn't it? It's that social thing, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So,
boot selling a bottle, not good enough.
Bottle of Prosecco for me. Well, during lockdown, your neighbourhood's been that since social distancing was introduced, many people my parents' age have faced their fears and tried to embrace the internet, often for the very first time. Yes, it can seem like a minefield, but who needs endless pages of instructions when you've got a Hunniford to give you all the info you need? Brilliant.
That's it.
I liked the man that dove into his paddling pool.
Which, does that count as one lap?
It's trying to do front crawl. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Well, you can't get to the gym if your car is missing parts. And earlier on, we heard how the pandemic has opened the door for criminals to make a packet, stealing bits and bobs from under your bonnet. Now that we know what the thieves are up to, the big question becomes, how do we stop them? Here's Julia.
At all, definitely the way to...
Bryn has told us that he and his mum finally went out to the market last week. He said it was the day the heavens opened and, like Muppets, we didn't have a brolly between us. There was a for each of them. My mum said, I'm not paying that. They're wet through, damaged goods. So he sold a 1 for a 5. Now, you have been using your time at home to clear out your junk. The problem is, now it's all piled up, what on earth do you do with it?
Gee. Tell us all about it. What happened?
Right, first of all,
Yes.
let me just tell you, I didn't even know what that meant. I hadn't heard the phrase fly tip. I hadn't heard of it, OK? It's not in my vocabulary.
Never seen an episode?
No.
OK. It's fine. Don't take it personally.
Not at that. No, so we'd cleared out our house and there was stuff on the drive waiting to go to the tip. I was on my own with a baby at the time, with Polly. Yeah, knock at the door. Guy in high-vis jacket, lanyard on, you know, looked pretty official to me.
Yep.
We take your neighbour's stuff, you know, we've just loaded up the van there, just wondered if you wanted us to take your stuff. 40 quid. And I was like, oh, amazing, it's going to take it to the tip. Then, 2 weeks later, I get a call. Your stuff's been found dumped at the side of the road. And I was like, what? Like, I totally had no idea.
Did you find out how they
there was an address in there, I think, and that's how they traced it back to me. But I didn't know that you had to ask to see a licence or...
What happened? Did you get a fine? Did you get let off?
I got cautioned and I paid for the clean-up. But, I mean, so it cost me twice.
Amazing. It
basically.
does happen then. You are...
It was They did make an example of me. It was really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Really embarrassing. So don't let it happen to you.
Yeah.
I'd have ran away from you as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
So the question is, if we are struggling to get to the tip, how can we get rid of all our rubbish in a responsible manner? Well, junk genius Max McMurdo is with us. Good morning,
How you doing, Max?
I'm very well, thank you. I do like that title, though, junk.
Recycling centres have started to open now around the country, but there are big queues in a lot of areas, and they're also being really strict about what you can take. So how do we get rid of all our big, bulky junk?
Before they resort to getting rid of it. So my first port of call would always be
To other people, either, you know, passing COVID with it or...
to the, you know, the distancing rules and the hygiene rules, I suppose.
Yeah, what about things like mattresses? How do you get rid of those now?
Fantastic. And they get their companions and they reskill them. So
There's a lot of people been doing home improvements during the lockdown. Disposing of paint can be a problem, can't it?
Max, very quickly, is this in reusing, recycling in ways that they wouldn't have? Is this forcing change?
Well, there you go. Top tips for tipping, indeed. Thank you very much, Max.
Thank you, Max.
Now, Dave Fishwick may not have got his dream job as Governor of the Bank of England, but he hasn't been deterred. He's got himself a brand new job with us instead. What a great start to the week. Thank you to everybody who's taken time to send in a photo, email or video.
Yeah.
Ooh, exciting. And it's the news my roots have been dying to hear, literally. We'll find out how hairdressers, salons and nail bars might look once they reopen next month.
OK, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye-bye.